This is a Glass Box Media podcast.
How do they think women managed before tampons? Like, there's other shit you could use if you were in an emergency.
Exactly. There were very ingenious methods or whatever.
They did call it on the rag for quite some time.
Like, literally.
For a reason.
Literally, you could use a washcloth,
Tuck it in there.
Tuck her in.
Between uses. Like, it's not the best, but it would do the job.
Oh.
When in pinch.
God.
100 tampons.
Oh, it just proves how little men think about women or know or...
No, I loved that trend where women were asking their boyfriends and husbands what the letter says means on tampons, the R and S. They're like, oh,
regular.
But regular is what it means.
Are you feeling super today? I feel super. Well, if you're just joining us,
oh God,
my worst date.
I did not know we were recording. Uh-oh.
Welcome. I'm Christina.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Cassie.
We are talking about the fact that supposedly NASA included 100 tampons for a woman.
No, they asked Sally Ride if it was enough. If 100 tampons were enough.
For a very short ride. How long was that? It was like not long enough to need 100. Not even
7
close.
days. It said 7-day mission.
7 days?
A 7-day mission. A 7-day mission, ma'am.
Is she even on her period
Thank
at the time?
That should do.
I'm concerned about you if you go through 100 tampons in one cycle.
You
not.
absolutely need to consult a medical professional if that.
Do you have any blood left in your body?
You were definitely not okay. Wow.
You might want to put some blood transfusions also on that.
On that rocket ship. You guys. So we have to talk about this Twitter thread that has been posted a couple of times in our super secret, super fun My Worst Date group on Facebook. This, I think, is the epitome of a bad date, and the most common one.
Yes.
We don't share
ones
these,
that we just, it's so ridiculous.
but it's so common.
But it's so common.
Yeah, and I want to say as well, like, the way that she prefaces this date, I think really speaks to like women's insecurities and the amount to which we've been gaslit.
Yep.
Because she says, the date left me feeling unsettled, but I couldn't figure out why at first. He didn't do anything horrid or cringeworthy. In fact, he was nice and polite to me and waitstaff and on time. But as the day wore on, my anxiety slowly and steadily rose. I found myself just worried. So the thing is,
The bar is
when
on the floor.
we go in, the bar is in hell. Like, because when we go...
bar is in hell. Just so fucking just breezed right past that statement. Like it was like such a normal thing to say.
It truly
The
is.
bar is in hell.
Because for her to say, I don't know why I felt unsettled, and then proceed to talk about this man's opinions and behavior on this date.
And boy, his opinions.
Oh,
Wow.
honey, it's terrible.
Was his name Connor Reed? Connor Mead.
Yes.
Mead.
Yeah, we just had to watch and review for Patreon movies The Ghost of Girlfriends Past, and
Woof.
if you have not revisited that gem in a while, don't live your life,
Don't.
Faye.
Yeah.
Just listen to our episode on Patreon. You don't need to watch it. Please don't do that to yourself.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even recommend watching it if it's on TV. Like, don't
change
Turn
the channel.
Change the channel.
There's got to be something better on.
Crochet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Read a
Bake
book.
cookies.
That's
Yeah,
right.
something.
Honestly.
Pet your cat.
Lord. So, okay. So this guy, I can't even go through every single thing that because not only does she have like, not only are there subjects, there's also like subsets of subjects. Like she's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 4A, 4B.
Because
Or
the
C.
big picture is that he talked the whole time. It doesn't sound like she got to speak
A word in edgewise.
at all.
Yeah.
No,
It seems
this
as
guy
though-
had opinions
Yeah.
that he was going to
I
force
love
on her.
this one. We are on the verge of total societal collapse. Total. And when the lights go out, the biggest problem will be that schools no longer teach cursive, so the population can't read the founding documents.
I'm sorry that the founding documents and all their texts are available online to
Yeah.
read.
But the lights
But-
have gone out, Christina.
Oh,
So
okay.
Yeah,
okay.
now what?
not a single book has been written
Now
and
what?
printed in
Right.
Times New Roman.
Yes.
Now what? Now what are we gonna do?
no.
Just so you know, Keegan, I want you to understand that the Black community is in shambles, and there is no hope and nothing to celebrate. I asked several times for clarification, and yes, that is it. It's just hopeless. Look it up. Look it up.
Look it up.
Keegan. Look it up.
Google it.
Look it up.
Look it
Don't
up.
you know what hopeless means? Look it up.
Hopeless.
Okay,
Look
I'm
it
sorry. I'm grabbing my jacket and my purse and I'm heading out the door at that point. And that's like the first thing he said.
Listen, this is my favorite thing when people come at you with a very strong quote unquote fact that is actually an opinion. They give you no sources. They tell you look it up.
Yeah, you look it up.
This is a fact.
The
I'm
burden of
stating
proof
it.
is on you, sir.
Exactly.
Like, wait.
I said it with a very distinct voice,
Authoritative.
and a pointed finger. So you look it up.
You look it up.
My favorite, of course, is number 3, which
Feminism.
is just all caps feminism. No clarification.
No, look it up.
Not about like what your stance is on it, just feminism.
Just look it up, Keegan.
Oh, no. My personal favorite is the problem is there's too many single people, but it's not a problem for everyone, just women, specifically women over 50. While a man could get married like this, women, once they're over 30 and begin to realize no one wants them.
Ouch.
Okay.
Wow.
Sir, listen. Okay. Not to toot my own horn over here, but like I could go outside and catch a dick anytime I wanted.
We were
Amen.
just talking about
Sorry.
romance scams
Amen.
earlier and people literally losing hundreds and thousands of dollars. Millions for dick.
For dick.
And how worthless dick is. Just dick is not it's not a
enough.
valuable thing. I mean,
Yeah, it's
there's
not a
been
commodity.
plenty of jokes and stuff about it, but I'm like, I was dating in my mid-30s. It was extremely easy
To get dick.
for free.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not hard. Like, that's the thing. Like, why? I hate this notion, and I think this notion is being put to bed, that women depreciate, that their value depreciates
Right.
as
Yeah.
they get older. It's not true. Women are always being sought after to
Yeah.
the point where it's a problem.
Yes.
Please stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I
But
mean?
I think you're missing the point here, Keegan. And the fact is that he actually knows people over 50. So, and they're quote finally learning. In fact, his sister is over 50, and she's finally learning. They're all on antidepressants in their houses with their cars and quote careers, but no man.
I love the careers.
Careers.
Is in
Oh.
quotes. How fucking
Ridiculous.
the bar truly is in
Condescension.
hell.
The I can't believe.
Careers.
I
Hey,
can't
but
believe
no
she
man-
sat through this.
No man and alone, and now he does. No man and they're alone, and now he does welfare checks on his single women over 50. This guy is a fucking hero over here doing welfare checks.
I mean, they do know that like a lot of women are single by choice and extremely happy.
Right.
No, he goes on to say that women are actually communal and need other people. That's why there's so many of them are depressed once they hit 45 and are alone.
Hey, let me let you know something, sir. A lot of women are depressed in their 20s and 30s too.
Yeah, they
Let
are.
me just tell you.
And they have been.
Hi, we're all depressed.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Men,
Welcome.
however, are solitary creatures who don't need people.
Okay,
So they
well
can
then
be
have
alone
fun by your
and
fucking
happy.
self. Why are you on a date right now?
Exactly.
Like, why are you trying to find companionship if you're a solitary creature? You're not doing me any favors. Go live in your
No,
cave.
he
I don't
is.
fucking
He's
need
doing
you
her
around.
favors.
Oh my God, I will flip this fucking table.
Yeah.
The anger level from Keegan right now. I'm sorry, but
Just
No,
I
'cause
just
it
and I
does
want to
awful.
hold women, and I just want to be like, if I see one more woman like
Oh.
lower
up with-
herself
with this shit.
for this piece of shit man,
the worst one, the one that I found the most offensive, and there's absolutely nothing funny about this. Somebody says this to you with a straight face, honestly, like just you can stand up and walk out. You don't have to say a single word after someone tells you that the system is rigged against men. More than 50% of domestic violence claims are fake. Domestic violence charges are a way for the state to make men keep paying. It's a financial racket.
I want to stab this motherfucker in his face.
Get up and leave. That is the most disgusting opinion
and offensive
and to say
and
out
scary.
loud and scary.
There is something not firing right with somebody who will boldly say this to a stranger. On a first date.
Yeah.
Come on. There's something you need to get away from this person immediately. There are
topics that I think like are pretty common on first dates. It's like your basic like family sitch and like what you do for your career. I don't think like domestic violence is a very common area that we dive into. That's a strange thing for your brain to trigger on and say on a first date.
That actually, though, just reminded me of a story that you had about a date in which you asked him what he did for a living. Which, again, very common.
Yeah, and
like,
he
what
like
do you do?
flipped out. Yeah. Oh, my God. That was
well, never mind.
So bizarre. Like,
never mind.
Well, you know, maybe, to let me know. Am I the asshole asking somebody about their job, what you do?
One of the most common things that people talk about when
even
trying
when
to
you're
break
not
the
on
ice.
a date. I feel like that's so safe.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's pretty safe.
Yeah. 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 No,
Sorry, I got quiet for a minute because I feel like my body has gone into like protection mode and it just shut down.
You're like, I cannot.
And it needed to reboot. It hit a hard reset for like.
We had to unplug her and plug her back in.
30 seconds.
blew on the cartridge.
Yeah, no. It was like my inner child being like, shh now. It's okay. Yeah. You know, just rubbing my head.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no. And again, I feel like women have been so gaslit for so long that we're just like, couldn't put my finger on what was wrong here. It's like everything was wrong here.
Can't find the right thing.
No, this man is trash. And there are like, and I'm not, if this doesn't apply to you, let it fly. I know we have lots of male listeners. This is not like, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. It's fine, you know, but this sort of thing makes me so furious. Like it breaks my brain that this is something that's common and that people feel so bold as to say it out loud to a woman. And it also makes me wonder, do you even like women? Do you like women? Or do you just like women's anatomy?
Oh.
Do you like women? Because it doesn't sound like you like women. And it sounds like a lot of the things that you say are to impress other men.
Yeah.
And they have nothing to do with women, actually.
Yeah.
So what is it? Do you just like sleeping with women's anatomy or do you actually fucking like women?
Oh.
Because it doesn't sound like you do.
Well, he likes to make sure that his women over 50 are...
Yeah, he does welfare checks.
They don't want you to come by. They're fine.
I'm sure if his sister knew that that's what he's fucking telling chicks all over town, she'd have something to... I know I would fucking have something to say if my brother was saying shit like that. You know? Ugh. Oh my goodness. Well, yeah.
Yikes.
Spicy. It does get worse. We don't have to go all the way through it. I mean, she left the date finally. Yeah,
she
God.
did.
Once he started citing his opinions with sources from freebeerandhotwings.com.
That's right. I forgot
Which
about
she was
that
like, you know, I went to college. I'm not familiar with as source material. It was freebeerandhotwings.com.
Who is getting a byline for free beer and wings
for a paternity court episode?
That's right. Oh my God. Because, oh Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow, this guy has opinions.
Yeah.
And they're all shit.
Yeah.
All garbage.
Yeah. Opinions are like assholes.
He's one.
It's brutal out there, you guys. It's brutal out there. I
feel like that meme where it's like all those like really disgusting fish, and it's like the fish sea is full of fish or whatever. Like
plenty of fish in the sea,
and
they're all like,
but they're all awful.
The fish,
the fish.
No, I think to myself about like how long it takes me to form a sentence sometimes, that I try to be very considered, and my opinions, which are different from facts, are pretty researched. I try to and are also malleable and willing to change once new information seeps
As
in.
it should be.
I feel like there is a misunderstanding in the world these days. Kids makes me feel where people are thinking that opinions are facts. And I just
Didn't you know we're in the era of alternate facts?
Look up the word opinion and really let that soak in.
Look it up.
There's a lot of opinions around us every day.
Well, and there's also a difference.
Very different from facts.
There's also a difference between an informed opinion and an uninformed opinion,
Right.
too. Like you can have an opinion that is informed, and you should be able to articulate what has formed your opinion from a source that's not free beer and hot wings.
I have to go check the site out now. I need to see what else is on there.
I have concerns about it having politics on it at all.
No.
You
don't even want to pay for your beer and hot wings.
It's not like the New England Medical Journal.
Honestly, I would
Scientific America, and then free beer and hot wings.
I'll pay for my beer and hot wings. Thank you very much.
Jeez. Well, who should we fuck, marry, kill this week?
I don't.
It's a hard left turn, I feel like.
We were talking about robots earlier. Speaking about rebooting.
Oh, yeah. That was a rather terrifying article to come across, that there's a UK company that has created an extremely lifelike robot that the first thing he does is open his eyes and then gaze upon his human-killing hands.
Human-killing hands.
Honestly,
absolutely
you can see it in his eyes that he looks at the hands and he's like, oh.
No.
People were retweeting this clip from this company like, well, countdown begins 12 years left, I think.
Absolutely not. Like, I am just... we've discussed this before. Like, okay, sure. I'm not a scientist. I don't know. You'll be surprised to know. I don't know like all the science behind artificial intelligence and stuff like that, but it makes me feel so deeply uncomfortable. I don't know. I saw like iRobot and 2001: A Space Odyssey at way too young,
early. Same.
To feel remotely comfortable with a humanoid robot with artificial intelligence.
I mean, we all grew up with like Terminator being in the zeitgeist. So, I mean, I feel like we kind of know what happens when we let machines. Machina. There was one thing I saw a long time ago where I think it was like a Google thing. They had two computers set up that could communicate in English to each other, but they were also like machine learning. And when they started talking to each other, they realized how English is very ineffective. So they have transcripts of the language that these two computers learned, and they made their own language so that they weren't understood by the
absolutely
and they
fucking
unplugged it.
Yes. No. It's conspiring and we can't understand what it's saying.
Yes.
No. This is leading nowhere good. I can't.
It was frightening. Reading the transcript, it was like something out of a horror movie, honestly. It was so scary.
I hate all of that. I hate it. But with that said, I think that we should fuck, marry, kill robots from movies.
Hot robots. Do you know who's the hottest robot? Michael Fassbender in Prometheus.
David. David.
David.
Hot but evil.
Yes.
In which movie? Prometheus.
Oh, I don't saw it.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's scary. But it's Michael Fassbender.
I mean, it's Michael Fassbender.
Is he a bad guy though?
Yes.
Who else? What?
I have one.
Google hot robots.
I already
Who
got
else
one.
we got?
Well, I have one that's okay. So I have one that is questionable because there is a question on whether this person is a robot or a replicant.
Oh,
yeah, Blade Runner, Rick
Yes.
Deckard. So some people think that Rick Deckard actually is a replicant, even though he's hunting replicants. That's like his job, right?
Yeah.
But you know, there's the confirmed replicant, which is what's his name? The blonde guy.
Oh, right. Roy? Roy?
I forget what his name is, but there's also Sean Young, who is like legitimately like
also
the
not
most
confirmed though, right?
gorgeous in that movie. That's a good one.
I'll go with T2 or Terminator, not T2. Although T2 is better than the first one.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'll go with the Terminator, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Okay.
Yeah, that's classic.
Classic.
Yeah.
Who else we got on that list?
So there's Gigolo Joe from AI, Jude Law.
I don't know that.
There's C-3PO.
Oh.
There's, let's see, Sunny from iRobot, which is the one that I always think of
Yeah.
when I think of like humanoid robots in movies.
Oh, right.
There's
You've got the chick from that movie Ex Machina.
you've got
yeah,
Ex
yeah.
Machina. You've got the fembots from
Austin
Yes! Austin Powers. Hilarious.
Gigolo Joe actually is a good one too, because I honestly think that
That's the iRobot one?
there's the Westworld robots too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah,
Because there's what's her name?
yeah.
Thandie Newton.
Mm.
Is
Hot.
So hot.
This is Gigolo
so
Joe.
beautiful.
It's Jude Law. It's just Jude Law looking extra waxy.
Extra
Yeah,
waxy.
just put some sheen on the
Yeah.
skin.
Mhm.
Now you're a robot. No, you're still Jude Law.
Still
That's
Jude Law.
kind of how I feel about like Michael Fassbender
Me
and
too.
Prometheus. I'm like, yeah, no,
Waxy.
He's implicitly evil in that though.
He is absolutely evil, but he can play like some classical piano, which
Can you
immediately
change
I'm like, oh.
his programming though. That's what I think. I'm like, if I took out his SIM card and put in the one from my iPhone.
It's fixed.
Amen. You would pick the one that I'm like, I don't think that one's fixable. Like
I could try.
You
a screwdriver.
You plug it in, yeah, you know,
Unplug it,
just
plug
a
it back in.
Control Alt Delete and
Yeah, simple.
reboot. All right, okay, cool. So I'm gonna stick with David from Prometheus.
I like that talked you into it.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, cool, yeah.
I can fix it. Oh,
yeah,
Jesus.
exactly. It's actually a better I can fix it than like a human, because like a robot, yeah, you can just maybe like you
Except
swap out the
he
green wire with the red wire or
Hates
whatever.
humans. That's kind of the thing. Is like he wants to destroy humans.
Yeah.
Like the one thing we're most terrified of.
And you are, by the way.
Why?
I know, I am, but I'm like, you can reprogram that though, right?
You get it close enough to.
Fassbender.
And what did you pick, Cassie? Sorry.
I got Rick Deckard from Blade Runner.
Is that's the lead, right?
Yeah, that's
Yes,
Tom
Harrison
Ford. Sorry.
I don't know that I think he's a replicant, but I'm willing to go. I'm willing to go this way.
There's enough question about it. I'll go with that.
I mean, because nobody knows for sure that Sean Young is either. Because right, there's like the question about whether she is.
Yes, but you have Bo Derek, who definitely is.
Definitely is.
Ooh.
I think Roy Batty is the
Yeah,
name of the other robot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the one that has that great speech in
The
the rain at
best
the end.
speech.
Rain,
That
yeah.
monologue.
He's hot in that speech too.
Mhm.
He is.
Yeah, that's a great speech.
But okay, all right.
And you are going with
Terminator.
Terminator,
Mhm.
the classic, the original, the Arnold.
We've done Deckard before when we did the Harrison Fords. So I feel the same way about him now as I did then. And that is, while Blade Runner is one of my favorite movies, I love that movie. That character,
He
troubled.
doesn't seem like
he's not a good guy.
mhm.
Rutger Hauer is who plays Roy Batty.
Rutger Hauer. That's
Yes,
who I was thinking
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you.
I'm going to fuck him though. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
He's got that man needs therapy.
Mhm.
Like I don't want to try and fix that.
No.
Like that just feels like a lot of baggage
Yeah.
that I really don't want to get involved in.
Right.
His relationship with women feels troubled in a
Yeah.
way that
His
like I don't
relationship with everyone.
like. Yeah.
the world.
You're like, man, yeah, if you've ever been around like somebody that's like that all the time, it's exhausting.
Right. It's hot and mysterious and intriguing when you see them across the room at a bar.
Yes.
But it is not something I want to engage in long term.
Yeah, it can sustain a 45-minute physical
Yes.
encounter.
Yeah, yeah.
But more than that, it
And
it
you
gets
shouldn't
old.
expect more than that because he also doesn't really want to give you more than that.
Right.
Like, I don't think. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going
T2 is when Arnold's the good guy, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but you kind of got to take him for like all of it if you're going to go with that character, I guess.
Awful.
It's terrible.
This is awful.
This is not good. It's bad in every way. I have such a deep fear of AI and robots that I have to kill David. You got to kill David before he kills you because he will kill you, Christina.
Oh, I've got a plan.
Okay.
No.
Right.
I definitely, I know what I'm doing.
I have
man.
a photo picked out for your obit.
I look, no, but here's the thing. If Christina, I'm sorry, if you end up with David, we're going to also, unfortunately, have to cut you out because if he takes you out, he's taking us all
That's
out.
right.
No, my plans with him are not good.
long term. Okay.
Well,
okay.
We'll see.
So I'm going to kill David. I'm going to marry
The Terminator.
I'm going to marry the
You're
Terminator.
going to marry the Terminator.
I feel like, unfortunately, it is the only option for me.
Better keep an eye on the nanny.
Oh.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna marry him though. I'm gonna marry the Terminator. I feel like he's a good father figure. I'm grasping at straws.
We really are. Is there a suitable marital partner in any of these?
There is
really
not. But at least
he's trying to protect.
Sure.
It's almost like being married to like a Rottweiler at that point. Do you know what I mean? Like that's kind of what the energy it's giving me.
He knows Eddie Furlong, and 12-year-old me would never forgive myself if I didn't at least try to take a chance.
Gotta get in proximity.
Yeah.
For sure. Look, it's not a great option, but I do feel like looking at these three
Better
options,
than the other two.
It's the only option,
actually. Yeah,
that I have. So there you go.
I think I'm going to switch it up a little bit because I actually am going to marry Deckard.
Yeah.
He's dark and mysterious.
Maybe they just need to go on vacation. Do you think he's sad because he's like seasonally depressed?
Oh my God, it's dark all the fucking time.
Yeah.
And it seems to always be raining. Like, honestly, he just needs to get out a little bit.
Yeah.
Right?
Do you think he'd be like that in Jamaica?
Did you see the extended version with the unicorn and the open field and green plants? I mean, he seems to come alive.
Yeah, maybe you just need to get that man out in nature.
That's right.
He's just not a city person.
He clearly is not. He's been through a lot.
Yeah. Sounds like we're making up a lot of excuses for this man.
I'm going to fuck the
bars
Terminator.
in hell.
Yeah, the bars in hell.
Yes.
I am going to fuck the Terminator.
Mm-hmm. Strong.
Honestly, just because the other option seems impossible.
Seems
from what I know about
dangerous.
this, David sounds like he is not safe. I'm not safe around him.
No.
And no one is, and I don't like that. I want to protect not just myself, but my friends, my family.
It's considerate. Thank you.
Well, and that's why I've got to marry David because I want to protect.
I don't want friends.
I need to protect my friends and family, and so I am going to. If I can't reprogram him, which I think you tech savvy.
Christina.
And like future me, I feel like will be even more tech savvy. Like if something in my computer gets a little hanky, like I know how to fix that.
Yeah.
So I'm
have you ever had Eric have to fix some things for you? You just call Eric and be like, I have to marry this guy for you.
I don't think
but I also might need your tech skills.
I don't think you can call IT on
tech
on
David.
Well, I'm gonna try. And also it's Fassbender.
He's hot.
My gosh.
Okay,
but so yeah,
Dick
I'm doing it. I'm doing it for the world.
She would lose millions for a dick.
I love him so much that maybe you would change his mind about
robot.
You cannot love the hatred for humans out of David. You can't fuck it out of him, Christina.
Oh, but I'm gonna try.
Oh my God. We're gonna have an intervention.
I know.
And then
actually, that's what we invited you here for. If you grab that piece of paper out, Keegan, real quick. Shut the door, please.
I wrote you a letter.
We wrote you this letter.
You hurt us with the choices you make. You hurt your friends.
You don't love yourself enough to not date somebody who will kill you.
Oh my God. What is this whole podcast if not that? And then I am going to take Deckard on vacation.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a nice little like fuck fest, maybe like a cruise or something. Like you know, I just think some sunshine, some fresh air, might cheer him up a little bit.
Get that duster off him.
Put him in a Hawaiian shirt, fixes everything. Get him a pina colada.
Yeah, you think he's still gonna have that attitude while he's slipping a fucking pina colada in the middle of the ocean?
Good luck.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do, and I feel good about ending. Well, we're not quite to the end of 2021 yet, but
we've learned nothing in the years we've done this podcast. It really feels like have we grown?
Have we?
Oh my
gosh.
Never grow up. It's a trap.
Yeah.
We should take 5.
Yeah.
Get ourselves back together.
Oh my God. Yes. We'll take 5 and we'll come right back with stories.
And we're back. Okay. So I'm going to start us off with stories because I have the Tainted Love this week. I apologize in advance for how short this is, but I read it and it made me laugh. So
amazing.
We were hanging out in my backyard and we ended up kissing. I was delighted. Then he pulled out a hand-rolled cigarette that looked really dirty.
Ooh.
I asked him about it and he said it was possum poo that he had found on a tree.
What? What?
He wanted to see what happened if he smoked it. He'd been smoking before we kissed as well.
Oh,
no. No.
Is this how everything in the modern world has been invented? Because somebody was like, well, fuck it. Let me just check this out. Oh, my God.
First of all, he found it.
How do you know it was
picked it up
possum poop?
and was like, this is a good idea. Then he smoked it, put it out, put it back in his pocket for later.
Sir, I did not agree to be part of this experiment to see what happens when you ingest possum feces. No.
You guys.
No. So he'd been smoking before we kissed as well. So I'd been in close contact with secondary possum feces.
That sounds like a disease.
I still want to wash my mouth out when that memory surfaces.
Oh my God.
That's some kind of disease for sure.
Fucking what?
So bold
Fucking
again.
What?
Once again.
Fucking what is wrong? What?
Once again, I am here asking you to raise the bar. Please.
From hell.
For fuck's sake. It is just astounding. Again, you just met this person and you're like, I feel safe with you.
I'm never getting divorced from my husband.
No.
Ever.
No.
Ever.
You can work it out. Believe me.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, you can work on it.
We'll work it. It's fine. Honestly, it's fine.
It really
Imagine
is.
someone sticking their tongue in
No.
your mouth.
No. Dude, we just had Taco Bell.
In fact, I want to call Chris right now and tell him about this. That these are humans that exist in the world.
You just text him with no context. You're just like, hey, I love you.
So much.
He'll be like, are you drinking wine?
Oh, all right.
Well, that was awful.
This one is a silly little roller coaster ride that I found. It says, I'm going to preface this with, this was about 10 years ago, using Plenty of Fish and OkCupid. Mm-hmm. I am married now.
The two worst ones.
To a different woman. So, I was getting frustrated with online dating, almost blasé, due to being on it for a few years with mixed luck. As someone who's relatively introverted, I also find it hard to approach women in a public scenario, and my field of work is generally all men. This leaves me annoyed at dating sites, yet reliant on them. My profile became like a joke. I made a fake profile with my pictures, though, hopefully garnering a laugh.
Oh.
Some of the jokes were pretty dark, hopefully to give an idea of my sense of humor at the time.
I really feel like he's misguided about how this should work.
This cute blonde girl messaged me and was really straightforward. She basically, in a roundabout way, said, hey, let's just meet up and see if this works. I don't really want to chat on here for weeks and weeks. And people are different in person.
God bless her. She's like, I've been doing this for a minute. I've been out here for a minute.
Which I agreed to. And I set aside my own personal rule to chat for a couple of weeks before meeting. We met at my house, and my medium-sized chocolate lab mix likes to lean on people when she greets them, as opposed to jumping on people.
I love
that's my
so
love
sweet.
her. When the dog comes
Let
up
her
and
lean on me. Come and lean
When
on
a dog
me.
leans their weight on you, a big
Yes.
dog, oh, that's the cutest.
supposed to give him
And
scratches.
chocolate labs,
Come
beautiful.
little baby on me.
So my dog went to lean on the girl, and she swatted at her to get her way. Like gave her a quick smack to the face.
Immediately no.
Get
Immediately
the fuck
no.
out my house.
Get out.
Get the fuck out my
We're
house.
done.
If you hit my fucking dog,
We're done.
you're lucky I don't hit you.
Get the fuck
get
out of
out.
my house.
That's it's so not full force, but enough to hurt. I still regret it to this day, not telling her to leave right there.
Yeah.
And she goes,
So hold on. Enough to hurt. So it's
Enough
not
to
even
hurt the
like
dogs.
it's not even like a swat, which
no,
is just kind
she
of like
smacked the dog like fucking like Steve Zissou.
Yeah.
Like I don't like that.
murder.
She goes, I don't like dogs. So I put my dog
That's the
inside
reddest
and we
of flags.
go to leave. Immediately here, I knew it probably wasn't going to work. I love dogs. Yeah, no, it won't.
It won't work. It ain't gonna work.
It ain't. That's
You can't have that bitch in your house ever again. Fuck
We're
her.
not talking about your female chocolate lab.
No,
exactly.
she's precious.
The plan was dinner and a movie, but she didn't want it to be a quote unquote fancy dinner. On the road, I asked, "What would you like to eat?" Without skipping a beat, this girl exclaims, as though she had been expecting me to ask the question, "Arby's." Oh, sure.
Oh, okay.
Fine.
They have
not-
the meats.
I'm not a big fan of Arby's, but if that's what she wants, we'll get it.
So
She's just been waiting
Arby's.
to get that Arby's in.
She wants that Jamocha shake.
I want beef and cheddar.
roast beef and cheese. Yeah,
Give me
yeah.
that beef and cheddar.
Oh my god, they got the curly fries.
I mean, those curly fries though, they are good.
I'm not a big fan of Arby's, but if that's what she wants, we'll get it. She orders legitimately over $20 worth of food.
Oh, shit.
Which was a lot back then.
Well, and it's a lot at Arby's.
Arby's.
Like everything at Arby's is like $2. How?
Their roast beef comes in a bag. It's not that expensive. Oh my god. Just Arby's on a date. I don't know why I think it's so funny. How are you gonna eat fucking roast beef with horsey sauce
Let's
on it?
make out afterwards.
I know, exactly. It's like the least sexy.
I don't know.
Like
It
Dude,
might.
It's not possum poop.
It's not possible. It is a step up. I mean,
Arby's, not possum poop. Why aren't they sponsoring us? Oh my god. Ooh.
we're not okay. We really gotta, ladies.
Okay.
Crying.
Okay. It ends up being like 2 full combos and a shake. I told you, Jamocha shake. Because she couldn't choose what she wanted when we got to the window. She ends up eating half of one of the combos and then throws the rest away.
Why did I spend money on you? Like, why?
Which annoyed me because she was just randomly
your dog.
wasting an insane amount of food while we were eating. I was trying to get to know her a bit, break the ice with some jokes, which got nothing.
Wait. Okay. I don't know what's worse. Are you sitting in your car eating Arby's, or did you
They
actually
said
go and
drive-thru.
sit down?
No, they said drive-through.
So they're sitting in the car.
Yeah.
Oh no. Like, I don't know which is worse, because sitting inside at a fast food place is so depressing.
Right.
But on a date, eating off of your lap, there's just like Arby's sauce dripping onto the foil.
And
like,
the smell in that small, tight space, it's just like the least sexy thing
and
ever.
you can't look at each other because you're just sitting next to each other. Like, everything about this is so sad.
Yeah. Everything I asked her resulted in one-word responses or just made it hard to continue conversation. As we were leaving, she then makes a racist comment about the number of black people working at the Arby's. At this point,
Why do you feel safe? These strangers, all of these, there's a common theme here of just people feeling really comfortable, like way too fast.
yeah. Well, I mean, better to fucking get it out now. I mean, there is part of me that's like,
enough with the dog. I don't need you to also be racist on top of it.
Exactly.
That's fine.
Now we're just like putting icing on a shit cake. So
Arby's.
Awesome shit.
Arby's icing on a shit cake. Oh, Jesus. Oh,
How are we not in advertising?
I know, right? I've never actually abandoned a date before. Plus, I was her ride, so I continued and went to the theater. I sat in my seat basically as far as I could from this girl, never looked over at her, even when I could tell in my peripheral she was trying to get eye contact. We finished the movie, and we're in my car on the way back home, and she says, "That was fun. I can't wait for a second date."
Oh, no, ma'am.
And I go, "Probably not." I
At
admit
least he's straightforward.
this was probably a bad time and place and too brash. She goes, "Did I do something wrong?"
Honey.
I go, "We just don't match. We should have messaged for a bit before we went on a date and this wouldn't have happened." Which is true. But after I said this, she just had a complete meltdown. She started crying, not just a normal cry, a really guttural cry.
This is me giving no fucking fucks. You fucking racist piece of shit. Go fall out of my car right now.
Yeah.
Couldn't give a shit.
She yelled about how she had just gotten out of a long-term relationship.
Not my problem.
And her boyfriend had dumped her. Dating is hard because she isn't used to it. And she picked me because I look like her ex-boyfriend.
Oh, great. Even better.
And a lot of stuff about how she still really isn't over him. I tried to console her and give her my perspective, maybe offer help, but she just brushed off everything I would say as ignorant because I'm a man and it's different for men.
Okay.
Anyways, I got home, she got in her car and left and never heard from her again.
Wow.
Woo!
That was a journey.
I tell you, it was a roller coaster. But
Yikes.
Arby's. Not a place for a first date.
Arby's. What did you say? Not
possible.
Oh, God. My chest hurts from laughing.
Where are we going now, Cass?
Sorry. I'm just nowhere. Where can we go after that? All right. Mine's not very long, but it is. I think it's super funny. Keegan needs to reboot again.
I feel like that, like, Chrissy Teigen gif where she's just like,
yeah, just the teeth.
All of the energy has just been zapped from my body.
Yeah,
and we're only 2 stories in. Mm-hmm. All right.
Well, this one won't make you feel that way. I don't know why I think it's so funny. All right, I went on a date with a 30-year-old man, and the only hobby he had was, quote, doing wheelies on my bike.
Oh.
So of course.
Wait.
That's all you could talk about?
So of course.
Are we talking about a bicycle?
30-year-old man?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
His only hobby was, quote, doing wheelies on my bike.
Like a motorcycle or like a bicycle?
So of course,
Not
I assume he means like
either is good.
He likes to ride. But no, apparently it means only wheelies. I have a mental image of him pushing a bike about the city, getting in a wheelie here and there.
All I can think of is that Batman guy that we saw that one time on the motorcycle.
Longest hour of my life, dude literally couldn't come up with anything else he was into. So we just discussed our meal. Can you imagine? Like, that's just your thing. Like, what do you like to do? I like to do wheelies.
I mean,
and also
know thyself, I guess. Like, that's fine if that's like your thing, but that's the only thing?
That's it.
Yeah.
You don't have anything else you could talk about?
Can you imagine this guy is just like wheelies? I'm like 30 years old.
Exclusively wheelies.
12 years old, maybe.
Oh my gosh.
30-year-old.
There's got to be other things going on in your life, my
Nope.
dude. Like,
I love doing
you got a
wheelies
job? What's your
wheelies
family
on-
like?
Wheelies on a bike.
Oh my God.
And yes, bicycle, not motorcycle.
Wow.
I mean,
Yoinks.
okay.
Just imagine this like 30-year-old man just wheeling down the road.
Oh
like,
my God.
like,
Especially like Los
I
Angeles.
don't know why I think this is so funny to me. I'm just like, you're a grown-ass doll and you're...
And presumably you have like bills to pay and responsibilities and shit. Like,
And, yeah, it doesn't seem to vibe with the wheelies. Yeah.
and what's the angle? Is there an angle just for the pure joy of doing the wheelie?
Is there Olympics of wheelies? Or...
Yeah, I actually don't know. I am not immersed in the wheelie subculture.
In wheelie culture?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wheelie culture?
Like, perhaps It's way more involved than we're giving him credit for.
If you know, let us know, listeners. Write in.
Yeah, maybe I'm laughing and they're like, no, actually, it's a really serious sport. Wheeling.
I don't know.
We just offended.
Maybe
so many
a really
people.
bad review.
We're not going to get an X Games sponsorship now or
Add
whatever.
them to the list. Them and Arby's.
Yep.
Oh Jesus.
Okay. All right. So I had a hard time deciding what to do for my Tainted Love this week. I didn't want to go I feel like last time I went so hard that I was like, this time I'm gonna, I didn't want to
phone it in.
I just didn't want to go that
Hard.
hard, right?
Yeah,
I didn't want to do a heavy hitter.
Yeah.
But this one is still interesting, and it is a pretty well-known case, so you may have heard of this one.
Okay.
But I got my information from an All That's Interesting article, a Broward Palm Beach news.
Oh God, we're going to
local
Florida.
News.
Yeah.
As soon as I heard Broward County.
Mm-hmm. There's also there was an episode I watched a long time ago on, I think it was Oxygen, a show on Oxygen. And then there's also a Dateline on this. And then I watched Kendall Ray, who does true crime on YouTube. She has an episode on this. So I also watched her episode for this. So I'm going to be talking about Dalia and Michael Dippolito. Okay. Yeah. So Dalia Mohammed was born on October 18th, 1982, Scorpio, in New York City. The family relocated to Boynton Beach, Florida, when she was 13. After high school, while working to get her real estate license, Dalia began working as an escort. And Dalia was half Egyptian and half Peruvian. She was very pretty, and she was very successful as an escort. While she was working as an escort, she met Michael Dippolito in 2008. He was smitten with her immediately, so much so that he divorced his wife in order to marry her, which he did on February 2nd, 2009, only 5 days after his divorce was finalized. He was like,
oh, shit.
Wow.
Immediately. Michael and Dalia's relationship did seem to be pretty superficial. It was very centered on sex and looks. If you look at Michael, while he's not a bad-looking guy, he's definitely got big Jersey Shore energy.
Okay.
Right? The TV show, not necessarily the place. Not trying to insult all of the Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
But the TV show, gym tan laundry energy. They both spent a lot of time in the gym, and they both had a big fascination with and interest in reality TV. A lot of the people around them were they're gunning to get on reality TV, right?
Ooh, that is a special type of personality, man.
It is, certainly. Mike had a bit of a checkered past. He ran in some bad circles, had gotten involved with organized crime and drugs, and had been selling illegal steroids out of his vehicle at one point. So years before meeting Dalia, he had actually spent some time in prison on stock fraud charges and was on probation at the time of their marriage. So he'd been on probation for a few years. Despite all of this, he really seemed focused on getting his life back on track, and he'd been flying pretty straight for some time. But almost immediately after marrying Dalia, he started having run-ins with the law again. So about a month after they got married, a probation officer showed up at their house. And this wasn't unusual for Michael. He'd had been on probation, like I said, for years now, and sometimes officers made surprise visits. But what was unusual was that they asked if they could search the home. And he agreed. The officer searched the home, didn't find anything, and left. And it was weird, but he was like, random searches happen, I guess, and just kind of brushed it off. A short time after that, police pulled Michael over, and they tell him that they had gotten an anonymous tip that he was selling drugs out of his car. So they asked him if he would step out while they searched the vehicle. He did. Again, they didn't find anything. At this point, he's starting to get a little suspicious. He's like, why is this sort of thing happening now? All of a sudden, out of the blue. He started to get a little bit paranoid. Is someone out to get me? Could it be a connection from somewhere or from someone that I knew back in the day when I was involved with organized crime? Is it someone trying to get revenge for something? Right?
Yeah.
So a little bit more time passes. And one evening, he was pulled over by police after taking Dalia to dinner. Again, they say they've gotten an anonymous tip and they need to search the vehicle. And when they do, this time, they find cocaine in a cigarette pack tucked up under his spare tire.
What?
Michael is so adamant that the drugs are not his and he doesn't know how they got there, that he's able to convince them that he had nothing to do with it. Like, they believe him. They're like, okay. So they confiscate the cocaine and they let him off with a warning, which feels a little weird. That does feel
very weird.
He must have been, like... That's actually, he's very lucky that cops leave him. You know what I mean? Like,
because
it's not a common thing.
No. And he's on probation.
Yeah.
So it's
exactly.
like,
for this kind of thing, you know?
Absolutely could have gone to jail for that. So at this point, Michael is beyond paranoid. He is absolutely convinced that someone is out to get him and they're trying to get him thrown back into jail.
Oh, I mean, somebody is.
Yeah, that's for sure happening. That is exactly, you're not paranoid, bro.
Yeah.
You're sniffing out truths.
Yes.
Yes. He's so concerned that he might end up back in prison that by the end of July 2009, he's agreed to transfer the title of his house to Dalia to protect his assets in case he gets arrested. So around this time, Dalia meets up with an ex-boyfriend named Mohammed Shihadi, and she told Mohammed that she had gotten married too quickly, that she didn't know Michael, and that he had become abusive. And she said that he was tied up with mob activity, and she was concerned about her safety. So he urges her to go to the police, but she refuses to go. So Mohammed continues to see Dalia, and he starts learning things about her relationship with her husband. According to Mohammed, Dalia had, quote unquote, lost... spent, I'm sure, $200,000 of her new husband's money and was scared of what he would do to her. Eventually, she worked her way up to asking him if he would kill her husband for her. Of course, Mohammed is really taken aback by this. According to him, they weren't even that close. Like, they had seen each other back in the day. He didn't even call it dating. He was like, I wouldn't say we dated.
Right.
I know her. Yeah, I know her.
But I don't know her.
I know her in the biblical sense, but I don't know her. You know? Yeah. So they'd seen each other for a little while before she'd moved to California years ago, and they'd only just reconnected after she'd gotten back to Florida. And so he's like, absolutely the fuck not. Like, I'm not going to kill your husband.
Is he the guy that works at the car dealership?
I'm not sure.
I feel like this was an Oxygen show that I saw, but yeah.
I'm not sure. Okay. I don't know exactly what it is because I didn't rewatch that Oxygen episode. I'd seen it in the past.
Right. I know why you didn't say the title of the Oxygen show.
Yes.
It gives it away.
Yes, it does. So she pleads with him and says that if he can't do it, does he know someone who will? Because otherwise she's going to have to do it herself. She's like, well, if you don't do it, I'm going to have to do it myself. And then asks if she could give him some money for him to buy a gun for her, and she'll do it, right? So Mohammed at this point says that they argued, and he became really angry, and he told her to, like, get out of his car. And once she did, he drove straight to the police.
Yeah, he did.
Immediately. So the police were skeptical at first, but Mohammed was adamant. He told the police that she was serious about getting this done. So they decided to investigate further. As luck would have it, the TV show Cops was working with the Boynton Beach police that week, and their producers, those producers' ears perked up immediately. They were like, blood in the water, right? Mm-hmm. So they worked out a deal with the Boynton Beach police to film everything. So they told Mohammed, they were like, we're going to put some hidden cameras and microphones in your car, meet back up with Dalia, and like tell her that you found somebody who will kill her husband. Say that you've like thought it over and you're like willing to help her out, right? So on July 30th, 2009, he meets Dalia in a gas station parking lot. And during the recorded conversation, Dalia is very straightforward. And all of this, everything I'm about to say from here on out, there is video evidence of it all. Like, it's not just audio. Like, you can watch
see her do it.
Yeah. So she says...
So brilliant.
She says she can't get a divorce because Michael and his organized crime buddies would come after her. So she gives Mohammed $1,200 as a down payment to give his connect to purchase a gun. So when he asks if anyone would suspect her of murdering Michael, like maybe his mom, like somebody. She answers, quote, "Why me? Like, do you know what fucking killing someone is? No one is going to be able to point a finger at me." Like, she's basically
This
like,
woman
look
is
at me.
Delusion.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Beyond.
truly.
Beyond.
She truly is. And then right after she says that, she is like, hey, she gave Mohammed a picture of Michael to give to the hitman. And she's like, wipe my fingerprints off that fucking picture. Like, everything about this interaction is so clearly like, I want you to kill my husband.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
It's the most obvious.
So Mohammed is like, cool. I'll set you up to meet this guy and you two can work out the details. So he sets Dalia up to meet this hitman who was actually an undercover narcotics officer. And you can hear him talk on the Dateline episode, and he just seems like the coolest motherfucker around.
Yeah.
Like, he's just like so cool and chill. And when you watch the videos of him interacting with her, he's like, if he was not an undercover narcotics officer, I'm like, you should pursue an acting career.
Yeah,
like,
he's so fucking believable.
Yeah. So police had decided that she would meet up with the hitman and that they should record it as well in order to further solidify her intent. So they wanted to get just as much. I mean, I'm sure also the cops producers were like, get it all.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
We'll pay for it.
Yeah. But also it was, it's not enough that she had this conversation with somebody who she was friendly with, had a relationship with, because they were afraid she'd be able to argue that she wasn't serious. So they were like, we need more. Even though you've already given him money, you've given him a picture, it's very clear that this is what you want. We need it. We need more. So they, So she meets up with this undercover officer, Witty Jean, and they meet in his convertible in a parking lot on August 1st. During the meeting, he says to her that if she wants to change her mind, she needs to do it now because she won't have the opportunity later. And she says without hesitation, there's no changing. I'm determined already. I'm positive. I'm like 5,000% sure. Just digging that grave.
Yep.
Now, Dalia did this is one of the most like the fucking gall. She didn't have the amount of money that they'd agreed on for a fucking hit job.
Wow.
So she gives him $7,000 and then says that the hitman should get Mike as he's coming out of the bank because he will be sure to have a lot of money on him and he can take that money as payment.
Wow.
So your husband's going to pay for his own hit. Cool.
Wow.
So he tells her in order to establish an alibi, she should be at the gym on August 5th in the morning, and that is when the murder will be carried out. So she agrees, and the two part ways. So on the morning of August 5th, Dalia goes to the gym a little after 6 a.m. Police monitor her leaving the house, and then they go to the house, they knock on the door, and they talk to Michael, who at this point has no idea what's going on. So cameras capture the moment he's told that his wife has hired someone to kill him and he needs to go with them immediately.
Dude.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
The feeling that you must have, like, I mean, because he even thought somebody was trying to set me up, someone's trying to frame me.
Yeah.
And she didn't even come into his head, like,
And-
at all as a suspect. Oh,
No.
my God.
Awful. And it's almost like he's in shock too, because like you would think like what your reaction would be when you're being told that. And he did like sit down and you could see that the wheels were turning a little bit. But then like when he was getting ready to leave, the police officer was like, hey, can I have your key? Because I want to relock your house so that it looks like, everything's on the up and whatever. And he's like, sure. But like, that's my only key. Like, could you make sure I get that back? Like, it's just having a normal conversation. Like,
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be, don't worry.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll get
so
back in.
interesting. So they take him to the police station and show him all of the undercover footage of Dalia hiring someone to have him murdered. Investigators asked him if he felt like anything was off with Dalia during their marriage, and he says that he felt like something wasn't quite right about a month and a half in. Around the same time, the money started drying up because of Dalia's excessive spending habits. So he reiterates to the cops that, like, yeah, she burned through, within a month and a half of their marriage, had burned through like $200,000.
Oh my gosh.
Excessive
how?
spending.
No, it's the same thing I get when I watch Hoarders, and they're like, I spent $100,000, and I'm looking around, and all I can see is like a VHS tape and like just papers. I'm like, I don't see $100,000 here. Some people, I don't know. You know what I mean?
I don't know. And he does tell the police, like, yeah, all this weird stuff started happening, and there were all these anonymous tips that I was dealing drugs and shit. And there was cocaine planted on my vehicle. He also describes how one time when Dalia came home with Starbucks for him, he fell ill after drinking it. So he's like, yeah, looking back, there were signs.
Wow.
That like maybe something wasn't quite right.
I just don't think that that's like a normal thing that you think would happen to you. You know what I mean? I feel like
if I got sick after a Starbucks, I would not think anything other than, oh, that just didn't settle well.
Yeah, you wouldn't think Chris is trying to poison you.
Right.
You know?
Now that I start looking back.
No, totally. And obviously he didn't think that it was her because he wouldn't have signed over like the deed to his house and stuff.
Right.
Like if he had suspected her, like why would he have,
Right.
In the meantime, Dalia receives a phone call around 6:40 at the gym. It's the police, and they tell her that something has happened and she needs to get home as soon as possible. When she arrives to the house, everything has been cordoned off with yellow tape. There are several police cars blocking the street, and a forensic photographer was documenting evidence. So it all looks very, very up and up.
Up and up, yeah.
This is, man, this clip.
Yeah. No, I can't stop. The clip of
tears.
this one, the fake. Oh,
it is when
There's only one better clip, and you're not there yet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Like, but when you know that this is bullshit, like, kudos to the police officer for being able to like keep it together,
right?
Because
the audacity for her to be so quote upset.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. So she's told that someone has killed her husband. Upon hearing the news, she is hysterical. She starts sobbing in the officer's arms. She's shaking. She's hyperventilating. She's screaming, no, 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 and asking if they'll take her to see her husband. Like, it is so... But, even from a distance, it doesn't look like tears. Like, it looks like overacting.
Yeah.
And, he's comforting her, the officer. He's very gentle with her. And then he asks if they can take her to the police station to see if she can help identify a suspect who has been seen running from the property after the murder. So you can watch this whole thing, again, because the cops crew capture it. So they take Dalia to an interview room and start asking her if anyone would want to hurt her husband. And she says that some strange things have been happening lately and says that Michael had been concerned that someone was out to get him. So I don't know, maybe that had something to do with it.
He's got mob ties.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the police then have a handcuffed man, Witty Jean, brought into the interrogation room. They say this is the man they suspect of having murdered Mike. They ask Dalia if she recognizes him, and she says she doesn't. Obviously, she does know him. And her reaction here is really interesting. You can't really see her face, but I imagine that had to be a scary moment for her.
Yeah.
Because she didn't anticipate her hitman getting picked up by police immediately.
Getting caught, right.
And she knows that he knows that she hired him.
Yeah.
And all he has to do is talk.
Yeah.
Right. And so the police ask him, like, do you know her? And he says no. And she says she doesn't know him. So she's like, whew, what a relief.
Yeah.
But I mean, I wouldn't count on somebody keeping their mouth shut,
Right.
As soon as the suspect leaves the room, the police decide it's time to drop the bomb on Dalia. The man who just left was an undercover officer. They filmed everything that she said to him and every interaction they had. And the whole thing was a setup. They tell her that she will not be leaving custody today. She's being arrested for solicitation of murder in the first degree.
And then...
This is some of the most upsetting shit because she immediately starts being like, I didn't do anything. And the officer is basically, he doesn't say these words, but he's like, do I look fucking stupid to you?
I know. I would not be able to like hold it together.
No.
And like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like,
he's
have
like,
you on film.
And that's what he says. He says, did you hear what I just said? We have you on, like, we have recordings of you.
Did you see me say that guy was an undercover officer?
Yeah. And she starts crying and says that she hasn't done anything. And when the officer's like, your husband is alive and well. Dalia doesn't miss a beat. She's like, oh, thank God. And the officer, you can kind of hear it. He's like, oh, thank God. Like, that's kind of like what he sounds like. He's like, really?
Okay.
You can hear him rolling his eyes, truly. So as Dalia is getting handcuffed, and this is what Cassie is like squirming in her seat for. As she's getting handcuffed, they decide to bring Michael into the room.
Do.
Oh.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
they do.
When she sees him, her voice goes up like 2 octaves.
Easy.
And she is trying so hard to like
snare him in.
She's like, oh my God, come here, please, Michael. Come here to me.
Come to me. Come here.
Oh my God. It sounds just like that too.
Yes.
Oh, it's so...
And it's so annoying too because it also sounds like a command.
Yeah.
Which is like, bitch, what?
The audacity.
To demand anything of me right now. I cannot believe it. And Michael is just like, hell nah.
No.
Hell nah.
Yeah.
It's so insane that she thinks she can talk her way out of this situation.
She is, the level of delusion here is
astounding. Astounding. Like, there has to be something not firing right.
Oof.
Like, for her to think that
she's had some pretty privilege too
This
long.
is somebody that has never had to really deal with
consequences.
severe consequences of her actions.
Never played consequences.
Yeah, never played them.
So they take her to jail. Yeah. They take her to jail. And while in jail, her first phone call is to Mike. And even then, she is trying to gaslight him into believing that what he saw with his own eyes and heard with his own ears wasn't true.
No.
Like, she's literally telling him what they're saying. It's not possible. It's not true.
And he's like, I heard it.
I saw it.
He's like yelling at her through the phone.
Yeah,
wild
like,
ass shit, man.
I saw it. Like, how can you explain it? And she's like, I don't know, but I'm telling you, I'm giving you my word. It's not
my
true.
word. Oh gosh. Well, since it's your
honey. So obviously he doesn't buy it. And when he refuses to get her a lawyer, she berates him for refusing to get her a lawyer.
And
it's bananas.
Bitch, you're not having another cent of my money and another second of my time.
No.
In any case, she does find herself a lawyer, and when they go to trial, her defense team decided that their strategy will be that Michael was in on the whole thing.
Okay.
That it was all a big stunt for them to get on reality TV.
Yes, I forgot about that.
And they were trying to basically do the 2009 version of going viral, like by doing this elaborate stunt. Of course, this is a terrible defense strategy.
Yeah.
Michael, for one, was like, nah. And he's like, I didn't call the cops on myself months in advance. I didn't plant cocaine in my own car.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and that they didn't know that the cops crew was even in town. So like, how would they have known that this would pan out like this? Like, it doesn't make sense. So the jury is also having none of it. And Dalia is sentenced to 20 years in prison. However,
doesn't feel like enough.
Well, Dalia's defense team was able to get the verdict thrown out because they found out that one of the jurors had heard some misinformation about Dalia during the course of the trial. So it was a mistrial, and they threw the whole thing out.
Jesus.
During the second trial, Dalia changed her strategy. She tried to argue that the police entrapped her.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was like, that's the obvious go-to for cases like this. It's like, you entrapped me, you convinced me, like, blah, 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 which of course isn't true. She sought it out.
Right. Yeah, which I'm sure is why they had her friend Mohammed go in first.
Yeah.
Rather than immediately sending in like an undercover or whatever. She tried to argue that the police entrapped her. She was innocent, which I don't know how she thought that would work. We see her say that she wants him dead. She pulled money out and exchanged it.
Yeah.
So
handed it over.
Yeah. But she argued that because this department had a deal with the TV show Cops, they were just trying to make good TV. Now, I don't know how, but somehow the jury ended up deadlocked in this trial, split completely down the middle, and it was declared a mistrial. At this point, it had been 8 years since Dalia had conspired to murder her husband. During that time, she had spent no time behind bars. She was on house arrest the entire time.
Wow.
Then finally, in the summer of 2017, after her third trial, she was found guilty and convicted of first-degree solicitation to commit murder. Dalia was sentenced to 16 years in prison, but because she had already served 8 years on house arrest.
That's not prison.
She's only required to serve half that amount of time.
That's
in jail.
not prison.
Yeah.
That's not prison.
No.
That's not prison.
No, it's not.
That's not prison.
It's not.
That's not prison. I have a.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Oh, I totally remember this story. That's so wild.
That whole series on Oxygen was like some of
So
the most
good.
riveting
Yes.
television.
Yes.
I can't remember
I
what
did one
the
of
show
them a while ago.
Yeah, I can't remember what the show is called, but it is something like it's all about like
Murder for hire.
murder for hire,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
there's so much of that like footage of undercover people and people
Yep.
being like, "I want you to poison my wife,"
And you're,
you know.
you're watching real people
Yes.
trying
The
to
callous.
get other people to murder like loved ones, and it's wild.
It
It gives
is.
me chills
Yeah.
even thinking about it.
It's
so
scary knowing that these people are just among us.
yeah, they're going
Yeah.
to Starbucks.
Mhm.
They're at your gym.
Yep.
And they're trying to murder their husbands.
Yep.
Oh, I'm gonna look at everybody I see from now on.
I know.
I already
This
do.
motherfucker.
I think that all the time. I'm
this
like,
one specifically. Are you trying to murder your husband?
You're on a plane. You're like, which one of you motherfuckers trying to murder your husband?
I know at least one statistically.
Somebody.
One of y'all motherfuckers.
Especially airports these days.
Oh, Jesus.
Goodness. Ugh.
People do not
Wilding
know
out.
how to act right anymore.
No,
Wow.
they sure don't.
They have been, the human race has been inside their homes too long
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
to understand that people can see them when they're outside of their homes.
We're feral, 100%.
There was a woman
Thank you.
breastfeeding a Sphinx
Yes.
cat on a
Thank you.
fucking airplane.
Yes.
was told not to and was like,
Proceeded
nah,
to
I'm
do
going
it.
to.
And
What the fuck is
I'm
wrong
sorry.
with you?
I'm sorry to bring this up at the end of this episode. However, it is one of the most upsetting things I've read in a while. Like, and the account. Imagine being someone. Who
Imagine.
Imagine this chick is in the middle seat.
the witnesses, the witness accounts. The therapy I would
I'd be
need,
like,
because
camera out, ma'am.
this woman or this person who was giving this witness account was talking about this woman, and they were like,
I'd start screaming.
they had the cat swaddled up like a baby in a blanket,
Honey,
so that
that's
you
some real
couldn't
problems.
tell that it was a cat. And then I'm sorry to say this sentence, they were like, she kept trying to get the cat to latch.
Oh my god.
And I was like, pardon?
That's a real.
that's something.
That's deep.
That's deep something going on. But I read something earlier that like the FAA or something has said like 2021's not even done yet. There are already more cases of airplane like misbehavior than there is in the entire history of
I
of,
believe this.
combined.
Yeah.
So
We do not pay like flight attendants enough for this.
No.
How much do you need to get paid to repeatedly ask a woman to stop breastfeeding her cat?
Oh, honey, there's not enough money. There's not. I don't even know how you deal with that. Like that attendant must have gone home and just like I used to see them
Cried.
at the mirror in their bathroom, just standing like making eye contact with themselves, and it's just like,
How did we get here?
oh my god,
How did we get here?
Oh man, the levels.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
levels of.
I mean, and all
push
of it, it's like there's that, which is
are you
of course
lactating? That has a there's a
also the teeth. I've got 2 cats. The teeth on cats, like no. But I mean, outside, of course, that's obviously like one of the most extreme examples. But
That's
but
like
beyond-
traumatizing.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
I'm just like
But
I'm
just
just
the number of
traumatized
people-
thinking about it.
just the number of people who've been like starting fights on planes,
Yes.
like just belligerent.
this lady punched a fucking flight attendant in her fucking face because she asked her to put her tray table up for landing. Not for landing.
And that's like not
Standard.
a new. That's not
No.
nothing to do with COVID or
No.
whatever. It's like that's what you always have to do. Yeah, it's wild. Having flown like a lot this year and seen it, like people's stress levels are just through the roof. It's almost like everyone's just ready to get into a fight. It's really
Everybody's walking around saying, "I wish a motherfucker would."
honestly, Cassie, you and I were driving the other day, and I thought we were going to see a fight on the road.
yeah.
I'm like, man,
Listen, there's going to be a lot of traveling that's happening upcoming this holiday season. Take a deep breath, let go, and let God, please, because it's just
Jesus,
let
take
go.
the wheel for
Jesus,
sure.
take the wheel, amen.
Ooh, well, what are you
Wow.
watching? Let's
I
cheer
have to
this shit
tell
up.
you guys.
Okay.
First of all, I hadn't been on Hulu in a while. And I did my walkabouts, which I do every, once about, I'm like, I'm bored. Let's see, like,
what's
on
on
I'll
this
add
app?
to my list. So Hulu has a lot of different quirky lifestyle documentaries.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I watched a documentary called Who Let the Dogs Out?
Oh, no.
And it is about the song.
No.
Baha Men.
No.
Let the dogs
Who Let
out.
the Dogs Out? Y'all.
How is there enough
A
information
whole-
for an
thank you.
entire
A whole
documentary?
No, I don't want a spoiler alert. It is
Oh,
one of the most
please,
fascinating
Spoil
things.
away. I cannot watch this. I can't. There can't be more than 20 minutes worth of material
How
here.
is there enough content?
There is an hour's worth of content.
No.
It's a big copyright thing. Just a
Oh.
spoiler alert. But like all the hundreds of people that come forward saying that they wrote this song, and it's riveting. And it's like a comedian starting. He's like, I'm the expert of this song. And you're like, haha, that's funny, like the Baha Man thing.
Yeah.
But it's actually like a riveting journey
Oh, my God.
of like who actually there's a
Who
town
actually
there's a
did let the
town
dogs-
Who let them out?
there's a town in Michigan that believes an entire town that
Okay.
thinks that they should have the copyright. It's
Okay.
it's wild. So
Wow.
there's two kids that think that say that they wrote it like 4 years previously on a Little Caesars bag at their job. It's
How?
y'all.
How?
It is.
How is this possible? I'm sorry.
It is a great documentary. I can't recommend
It's
it
a weird
enough.
song to want to lay
Have
ownership.
credit. It made a lot of money. For a
Probably
year.
still is.
For a year, it was everywhere.
It was everywhere. It really was.
It made millions of dollars.
We were real obnoxious in that time period. Like between that song and just like, what's up?
Oh, my God.
Everywhere. Where you're just like, why? What's wrong with us? What is wrong with us?
wrong with
I don't know. God.
Anyways, yeah. So that and Hoarders is what I've been watching.
Oh, my God.
Oh man. I mean, mostly I've been watching the same stuff I've been watching, which is Sopranos and The Americans. But I did watch the first episode of the new Great British Bake Off holiday special, which I just love because it's just like a nice warm hug. And then I watched for the very first time the original Parent Trap.
Yeah.
I'd never seen it. I'd
With
only
Haley Mills.
Yeah, I'd only ever seen the Lindsay Lohan version, which forever and always will live in my heart. It's a very special place in my heart. But I enjoyed it. I mean, it's an old movie.
Yeah.
It's but it's cute. Yeah,
Yeah,
I liked it.
Same movie. Literally.
It's almost exactly the
Yeah,
same.
it
movie.
literally is.
Yeah,
it's like
frame for frame.
frame for frame.
Yeah.
Very, very, very similar.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what I was telling you guys about 8-Bit Christmas is really similar to Christmas Story. It's
Sorry.
just
8-bit Christmas.
yes.
Not ape at Christmas.
Yes.
I was like, wait, what?
8-bit. It's basically a Nintendo instead of a BB gun, but it
Nice.
is very, very cute holiday movie. Steve Zahn is a treasure.
Oh, I love
Always.
Season.
Always.
And June Diane Raphael is in it,
Oh,
and
I
she's
love
good
her
too.
too.
And Neil Patrick Harris. So definitely recommend that one. It's a cute, feel good, really funny. Definitely, it's just a great Christmas movie. So I would recommend.
Nice.
Yay. Well, I got my booster shot
Oh,
and the other day, and I was like, oh, it's perfect. And then I'll have all day Friday. I can just do homework and stuff. And when I tell you I couldn't do anything because my whole body hurt from the tip of my hair to the tip of my
I'm
toenails.
so scared.
I was like literally like but the problem is this, and I realized that after the fact is like I didn't drink a bunch of water beforehand like I did with the last one. I didn't take like pre-Advil. I didn't like prepare myself as well. And I'm still like achy today. I'm like I fucked
know.
up. I did not do this properly.
I'm gonna go, but I do feel like I have to schedule because everybody I know got like knocked on their ass, and so I'm trying to schedule it around like a period of time when I can just kind of lounge around and I don't have other stuff to do. So fingers crossed, I'm gonna try and go Monday.
But worth it.
Yeah,
worth
work.
it.
Yes,
being,
do it.
Being knocked on your ass one day is better than being knocked
Absolutely.
into the hospital.
That's
So-
right. Well, so because of that, I did spend the entire day in bed. And I started rewatching Veronica Mars again. And I gotta say, so highly recommend it.
Yeah.
Like, I super love the show. I know I've said it on here before, but it is definitely one of those shows that you can just like
Bingeable.
Oh, it's so bingeable.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. And
I
so
love
well
Kristen
written.
Bell too.
Oh yeah,
she's great.
So
Adorable.
great.
Yeah.
And this is her her favorite thing too. Like she loves this role. She loves this character, and so she really plays the shit out of it too. It's just so well done.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Nice.
Well, cool. If you guys have shows that we should watch, stories, we're still taking those holiday stories. We got a couple weeks left. Go to our one-stop shop of a website. It's myworstdatepodcast.com. And we love you so much.
Cheers.
This is a Glass Box Media Podcast.